Hi and welcome to Top Tips Tuesday. This week's tip is for those home buyers or investors considering building a new property, and some of the top 5 questions we should be asking. Number 1, what is the budget for the project? So very important with construction to understand the full price and the inclusions. The devil's in the detail, and that's why it's really important to have someone to check that contract and make sure everything is included in that price. Also include on top of the construction, building inspections at completion, things like that, and those other normal purchase costs as well. Number 2, what are the zoning and building regulations in the area? Just because there's a vacant block of land in there doesn't mean we can necessarily build the dream home or the perfect investment property. So it's very aware to be aware of things like soil tests, zoning codes, restrictions really affect the type of dwelling, especially for its investment purposes. You want to make the most use of the available land, so you want to really check those codes out. Also, a lot of older areas, especially in southeast Queensland, are affected by flooding or bushfire issues, so you need to really check those map overlay floodplain issues before you proceed with purchasing the block of land. Number 3, what are the specific needs and preferences of the future occupants? So if it's your own home, there might be things like a home office, bigger backyard for the children or the pets to run around in, self-contained areas, all that size of the living areas is really important. If you're building new for investment purposes, it's a very different question. So what's the maximum use and rental income I can achieve from that block of land or building? So you're looking for the highest and best use, and also what are the tenants looking for? You may need for your own home 40mm stone bench tops, for example, to look nice, waterfall ends, looks beautiful. For investment purposes, to spend that extra couple of grand, is that going to give me any more rental income? So again, build the property for the purpose it's intended and the future occupants. Number 4, who will be responsible for the construction and management of the property? Construction is very, very important. I know a lot of construction companies and builders have gone through a lot of challenges. Has been a tough market over the last 2 years. I've built new myself, built new for family and clients, and we've had really very, very good outcomes working with good quality builders. That's really the key with construction. So understanding the builder, the history, and making sure that, again, the contract has fixed terms and prices in place. And number 5, how much are the holding costs? So things like checking if it's a house and land package, for example. Is the land registered? How far away is it? What's the likelihood of the developer extending that registered land process? How long does the build contract stay relevant for? So you'll find most building contracts have a limited period. It might be 30 or 60 days, could be less or more, and then the builder has the opportunity to review that price point. So again, just be very aware you need a professional to check that contract and make sure there's no hidden clauses that can really exacerbate the costs. I've heard a story recently. Home buyer took 2 years to build their property because they didn't have a fixed building period in the contract. So that's another big thing. Fixed period, have a penalty clause in place where the builder is responsible for paying your daily penalty clause if it goes over those construction days. So again, devil in the detail. Just be very aware of the construction company that you're dealing with. 90% of the companies are doing the right thing and achieving great outcomes, but you've just got to be aware of those other 10%. And lastly, you need to review the whole process, have a very good understanding, and work with someone, a professional ideally, that you can actually check everything and make sure you've got all these 5 points covered and you're quite comfortable with the outcomes. With construction, like any process, it can extend out. There can be certain delays, but make sure they're minimised and make sure there's processes in place to manage those delays, and the outcome will be very good at the end. So hope that's helped, and see you next Tuesday.